Hey guys, what's up? What's going on? Miguel here, FBA Bro, and in this video we're going to be talking about the 5 types of books to avoid when sourcing. Pretty simple, and pretty much we're just going to go over 5 types of book categories to avoid, or type of books to avoid, so you can save some time when you're out there sourcing. So you can save time, so you can go and scan some more books out there, and also save yourself some headache and just a hassle overall. And also, before moving on, I did want to mention we do have a Facebook group called the FBAbros Entrepreneur Mastermind Group, so go ahead and check that out. And we also got an Instagram, which is at FBAbros. We post content there daily, so go ahead and check that out as well if you're interested in seeing what we do. And yeah. Anyway, moving on. Let's go ahead and talk about the first one, which is going to be mass market paperbacks and fiction. As you see there, there's a romance novel image, and then there's also another image with just a bunch of paperbacks, Star Wars related. So you definitely want to avoid mass paperback markets because they typically are valued at nothing, especially after all the fees that Amazon's going to take when you make the book sell. And you're going to see these a lot everywhere when you go to book sales or when you go to libraries or thrift stores. Usually they're really cheap, but nobody really purchased these on Amazon. If anything, they're worth like pennies on Amazon. So you want to avoid these. And again, you're going to run into thousands of these whenever you go out sourcing. So you just want to avoid those. That's going to save you a lot of time. So you don't have to go through every single one of these books individually. And that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple. And moving on to the next one, it's going to be National Geographic and Time Life books. This after just so many times scanning these books, we pretty much came to a conclusion that they're really not worth anything. Some of these books will look clean and crisp. Sometimes they'll even have hardcovers. They look like really valuable books, but they're really valued at nothing. We've been told by actually friends of the libraries or just different places that National Geographic books are worth nothing to them. They actually don't even receive, they don't like to take those in because they don't know what to do with them. They just get so many of these copies. So that's something you want to avoid for sure. It's a complete waste of your time. And also, again, for these Time Life books, again, they can be disguised in a hardcover. They can look really nice, but when you look them up, they're really valued at nothing. So definitely avoid these two to save yourself some time so you can continue on sourcing and making some money. And also on this slide, it's about instructor's editions on textbooks. So when we first started, we would run into these a lot, and sometimes they're valued a lot. Sometimes they're selling for a lot of profit, but it's actually the student edition that's selling for a lot, not the instructor's edition. So you want to make sure you're sending in the student's edition and not sending in the instructor's edition. One, because the instructor's edition usually is a restricted pretty much book. You can't sell these on Amazon, or you're not supposed to sell these anywhere actually. So they're restricted. And also if you do send them in by mistake, let's say you send in an instructor's edition under the student's edition listing on Amazon, you might get an upset customer, which can result in a refund and possibly some negative feedback. So you definitely want to avoid instructor's edition, even though they might be profitable. You just want to avoid them altogether. It'll save you some time and trouble. And on this slide, it's damaged books. That's pretty simple. You don't want to get books, you don't want to purchase books that have excessive highlighting or writing on them, that are water damaged, or there are any missing pages, or sometimes if they have an odor. These you definitely want to check. So for example, when you're scanning books and you're looking them up, before you put that in your bin or your cart, whatever, just do a quick run through and inspect it. It takes about a second or two, and just make sure there's not a bunch of highlighting and where it would affect the person who's reading it. Make sure there's no writing on there that's kind of jacking up parts of the texts, which won't allow the person to read it as well. Also, water damage. Sometimes books are stored in humid environments, and sometimes it's kind of hard to see water damage, and you want to do a quick run through. Sometimes it just it just looks like water damage, and you don't want to send these into Amazon because customers, you never know what customer you're going to get. Some customers are really picky, and they will definitely write you a negative review for a water damaged book. And also missing pages, that's a giant no-no for Amazon. And that's kind of harder to inspect. You don't want to, like, when you check books, you don't want to go through every single page individually. You just want to kind of skim through, and normally you'll be able to spot if there are any missing pages. Sometimes like the first front pages are ripped off, or sometimes the back, especially with textbooks. So you want to make sure there's no missing pages. And also odor. You'd actually be surprised, some books smell. We've had some books at our place that we picked up, and it ended up stinking up the room. Yeah, some books just smell really bad, so you don't want to send that to Amazon and eventually, you know, it being shipped out to the customer. And the last one is going to be dictionaries. The reason why you don't want to, you want to avoid these is because dictionaries are typically heavy, and that results in higher Amazon fees, and they're low ROI. So the return over investment you get out of them is not much, because sometimes most dictionaries, for example, let's say they're high ranked, they're going to pile up in Amazon fees because they're giant, bulky, and they're actually huge. So you're going to take a hit by that. And also, most of the time, based on our experience, you're only making about $4 to $5 profit from these books. They're a hassle. They take up a lot of room, especially when you're shipping them out. So yeah, you definitely want to avoid these as well. Yeah, and that will save you a lot of time, again, to keep on sourcing and making that money. So pretty much what you want to avoid, just to summarize everything again, you want to avoid fiction, mass markets, National Geographic type books, Time Life magazine books, instructors editions, damaged books, and dictionaries. Again, this is based on our experience. There are exceptions. There's plenty of times where I just randomly wanted to check out you know, the fiction bookshelf, and I've found books that are worth $40 or $50 or more. Same thing with dictionaries. It's a hit or miss sometimes, but like probably 90% of the time they're valued at nothing. So you definitely want to avoid these if you want to save some time. But again, there's an exception. At the end after you're done scanning all the books and you feel like there's potential in some of these categories, or you see a couple of those books, just feel free to check them out, especially if you got some time. But again, time is money, so this is what we do, and it allows our sourcing to be a lot faster, gets us in and out the door, and on to the next place where we got a source. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you for watching this video. If this was informative and, you know, provided some form of value to you, please give it a like and comment, and also to subscribe. And that's pretty much it, guys. Also, don't forget to check out our other videos. We do got other videos related to book selling, and we also got a private label case study, so be sure to check that out as well. And that's it, guys. I'll see you on another video, and you guys have a good day.